Coming up next, more extreme heat and day 8 of a flex alert, but relief and rain are coming our way. We have your first microclimate forecast.
Lack of trees contribute to urban heat, where some communities are just hotter than others. Details coming up.
Plus, we're learning more tonight about the fugitive who's nicknamed Fat Leonard.
This business that's been in Del Cerro for decades has been told they have to leave. The owner has plans for a new huge apartment complex.
A woman with local ties breaks a record by climbing 20 peaks in 12 days in Switzerland.
And on National Salami Day, we meet the king of salami himself.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts now. There are more worries about the power grid tonight after another hot day and day 8 of a statewide flex alert. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan in for Carlo.
And I'm Marcella Lee. Once again, that alert is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. This heat has led to some government buildings, schools, and even businesses closing early. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
But first, Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis here early with a first look at your forecast, which includes rain and lower temperatures in the next few days. Carlene?
Yeah, we got the heat, we got the rain, we got lower temperatures, we got high winds. A whole lot's going to be happening as we go all the way into the weekend. So still holding on to the heat for tomorrow. We will also be talking about a flex alert that's going to be around 3 p.m. all the way until 8 p.m. for tomorrow, because the coast is even expected to get into the 90s. So talking about hot temperatures still in the forecast for our Thursday. And then you're noticing that we're backing off from that as we go into next week. And that's because we do have a tropical system that we're keeping a close eye on. That is K. It is currently a Category 2 hurricane, but on its closest approach towards us, it's going to be a tropical storm, and it's going to be over 100 miles towards the west of us. So as we take a look at your next 5 days across inland areas, you're looking at likely rain that's going to start around 5 p.m., continue all the way into Saturday, and then some lingering showers possible for Sunday. Strong gusty winds are also expected, high surf, and also talking about some cooler temperatures, getting away from the excessive heat that we've had over the last week. So we'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up. Jesse?
All right, Carlene, thank you. And it is day 8 of flex alerts across the state, and the request is the same. Cut back on power and avoid rolling blackouts. Yesterday, demand on the power grid hit a new record. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe is live in Rancho Bernardo, where several schools there let kids out early today. Rocio?
3 different schools here in the Poway Unified School District were forced to release students early for the 2nd week in a row after continuous problems to their AC units. And this is all happening in the middle of this excessive heat wave, and it's impacting not just students and teachers, but parents too. Students in several Poway Unified schools are leaving the classroom early.
Very inconvenient.
Rancho Bernardo High School, Bernardo Heights Middle School, and Midland Elementary are sending students home early for the remainder of this week. A parent of a student shared this email with me. The district says that after installing a new chiller, it could not handle the load of providing air conditioning for both Rancho Bernardo High School and Bernardo Heights Middle School. The issues led the district to re-implement early release days. Laura Sapano works as a nurse and says the changes have made it difficult to pick up her children.
It's still very difficult. My husband works nights and he has to wake up in the middle of his sleep time to come pick up the kids, go back home, so he'll have maybe 2 hours of sleep.
Melinda Huntoon says she's lucky to work from home and have a flexible schedule, but says the issue is impacting students the most.
The kids have lost so much learning already. The teachers are already trying to get kids caught up for 2 years. Now they're trying to get them caught up with this. It's just thing after thing.
She's now calling on all parents to attend the district's board meeting Thursday to address their concerns.
For years, it's actually been breaking down, so it's not a new thing. It's not new to this year or last year. It's had problems for years. And I guess just it wasn't budgeted correctly to have it replaced when it should be.
The excessive heat wave has taken a toll on the state's power grid. On Tuesday, the peak demand hit a new all-time record. California ISO is urging customers to save electricity during peak hours to avoid power shortages and blackouts. In the meantime, the district says it's bringing in a second chiller to be installed to address the issue, but some parents say the AC units should have been addressed before the start of the school year.
There won't be a bond until 2024, unfortunately. We're going to just have to continually deal with these kind of issues, all the schools.
New flex alerts could be triggered as the heat wave continues. In the meantime, the district is asking parents for patience as they work to have running AC. Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
Thanks, Rocio. San Diego detectives are asking for your help in finding this man. Franklin Lambert is wanted for stabbing and killing 60-year-old Edward Manier. It happened in the early morning hours of June 19th, Father's Day, in a parking lot in the 4400 block of Convoy Street. That's just south of Balboa Avenue. Lambert is 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. If you think you see him, call Crime Stoppers at the number you see there on your screen.
We're learning more tonight about the fugitive known as Fat Leonard. Leonard Francis was awaiting sentencing for being the mastermind behind a large Navy corruption scandal.
But he escaped house arrest in Torrey Highlands over the weekend. CBS 8's David Gottfredson has more on the international manhunt and the photos that neighbors captured before Fat Leonard escaped.
A neighbor gave me these photos taken last Wednesday of 2 vehicles with out-of-state license plates parked in front of the house where the fugitive known as Fat Leonard had been staying under house arrest, including a Mazda SUV with plates from Missouri and a Chrysler van with plates out of Colorado. On Sunday morning, Leonard Francis allegedly cut off the court-ordered GPS tracking device on his ankle and escaped house arrest. He's hard to miss, 6 foot 2 inches tall, 350 pounds. The house is in a gated community called Collins Ranch, valued at $2.8 million on Zillow. Francis reportedly lived there with a nanny and his 3 teenage children. This photo shows a white Toyota Sequoia parked in the driveway, the SUV that neighbors say belonged to Fat Leonard, though the neighbors had no idea who he was or that he was under house arrest. Neighbors also told me they saw U-Haul trucks at the house on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during nighttime hours. Reports confirmed by Omar Castillo with the U.S. Marshal Service.
Members of the Fugitive Task Force spoke to neighbors, and they did mention that they did see U-Haul trucks coming in and out of the house. So it sounds like he's been laying low, and he likely was planning this.
The 58-year-old had been under house arrest for the past 4 years as a cooperating witness in the largest Navy bribery scandal in U.S. history. In 2018, a prosecutor told the court, quote, "He has 2 guards who are positioned 24 hours a day outside of his door, that if Mr. Francis were to try or attempt to leave, would immediately contact the Marshal Service." Francis pleaded guilty in 2015 to bribing officers in the Navy's 7th Fleet with booze, prostitutes, and cash. In exchange, the naval officers used their influence to direct ships to ports serviced by Francis's Singapore-based company. Francis was facing up to 25 years in prison at sentencing in 2 weeks, but now he's gone.
We believe he definitely had this in the works, and he's focusing probably on getting out of the country as soon as possible.
Now, the Marshal Service told us they were using license plate readers to try and track down those U-Hauls that were seen at the house behind me in Collins Ranch here. But they will not comment on any of those 3 vehicles that were seen outside the house. We don't know if they're looking for those vehicles or not. So I'm trying to get a comment from them on those vehicles. Are they looking for that Sequoia? We're not sure.
All right, David, what about the 3 teenage kids you mentioned? Do officials think they're with their father?
Presumably they're with their father, but the Marshal Service will not comment on that either. Now, I want to reiterate that the neighbors did not know this guy was on house arrest. They didn't know he was Fat Leonard. But they do tell me they frequently did see those teenagers outside of the house, and for the most part, Fat Leonard stayed inside.
All right, David Gottfredson live for us tonight, staying on top of this developing and interesting story. David, thank you. California is getting ready to distribute the updated COVID vaccine boosters, and you should be able to get one soon. California leaders say the state is expected to receive more than 1 million doses authorized by the FDA. The updated boosters will increase immunity against both the original COVID strain and protect against new Omicron variants. They'll replace the old ones and will be available in the coming days and weeks.
At a time when the need for new housing has never been greater, a developer in Del Cerro is proposing a new 6-story apartment complex. But neighbors say the large structure is moving forward with no input from the community, and even the area's council member was caught off guard. CBS 8's Steve Price takes a closer look at the project.
Businesses that have been here for years have been told they have until the end of November to get out. Plans are in the works to tear this place down and build a huge new apartment complex. Oscar Ramos just found out about the plans being cooked up. And any way you slice it, it's not good.
I'm sad.
Oscar has worked at Madra Liquor and Deli in Del Cerro for 25 years, met his wife here, but now he's being forced out.
I don't know what I want to do after 3 months.
This is the plan for where Madras currently sits, a 6-story apartment complex with more than 100 units. People living in the area declined to talk on camera, but tell me their concern is that it will be packed with partying San Diego State students, and they say it's way too tall for the neighborhood. Oscar says he's hearing the same thing from customers.
The neighbor who's here, he don't want an apartment here.
The building with Madras and the one next to it that houses a gym, which will also be torn down for the project, are owned by the Jeff Katz Architectural Corporation, which has an office in the center that goes by the name Core Design Group. I left a business card asking to speak with Jeff, but so far no one has gotten back to me. But check this out. We spotted a subcontractor walking around the property with plans. And sources tell CBS 8 that Core wants to move fast, asking builders for bids right away. We also reached out to the area's council member, Raul Campillo, who sent us this statement. Like many in the Del Cerro neighborhood, I just learned of the proposed housing project. It is my understanding that the project is in an early review process. My staff and I will continue to gather information from city staff and share with the Navajo Community Planning Group and residents.
All the kids like the pizza.
Oscar, who's made thousands of pizzas over the years, knows it's cheesy, but he's still hoping the owners will change their mind and let Madras stay.
Everybody's sad, and they say, hey, the best pizza here in San Diego, and I don't know what he thinks. And all the customers happy because I'm making the pizza special for everybody.
In Del Cerro, Steve Price, CBS 8.